Success looks beautiful from the outside. Perfect swing, perfect smile, perfect life. But what if I told you that one of the greatest golfers of this generation was slowly breaking behind that smile? This is the story of Rory McIlroy, a man who had everything except peace. And for 20 years, nobody noticed. Rory wasn't just talented, he was engineered for greatness. Born in Northern Ireland, he held a golf club before most kids could even write their names. But talent alone doesn't create legends. Sacrifice does. His parents worked multiple jobs just to fund his dream. Late nights, early mornings, endless repetition. While other kids were playing, Rory was perfecting. But here's the part no one talks about. When a child becomes a dream, like he slowly stops becoming a child. And that pressure, it never leaves. By the time Rory turned pro, the world was already watching, and very quickly. The comparisons began. Is he the next Tiger Woods? At first, it felt like praise. But over time, it became a burden. Because when you're compared to a legend, you're no longer allowed to fail. Every swing had expectations attached to it. Every round had pressure built into it. And slowly, Rory stopped playing for love. He started playing, not to disappoint, the Masters, Augusta National. Rory had a 4-shot lead going into the final round. Everything was perfect until it wasn't. One bad shot, then another, and just like that, the world watched him collapse. Shot after shot, mistake after mistake. You could see it in his face. Confusion, fear, doubt. And in that moment, millions of people weren't just watching golf. They were watching a human being fall apart in real time. That day didn't just change his career, it changed him. Here's the dangerous part about success. It hides your pain. After the collapse, Rory came back stronger, winning majors, dominating tournaments, smiling for cameras. But inside, something had changed. Because when you've experienced failure at that level, you never forget it. It stays in your mind, in your swing, in your confidence. The fear of losing becomes bigger than the joy of winning. And that's where the real battle begins. By now, Rory wasn't just a golfer. He was a brand. Sponsorships, headlines, expectations, millions of eyes watching every move. And here's the truth. The more successful you become, the less freedom you have. He couldn't just play. He had to perform. He couldn't just live. He had to represent, and slowly, the game he loved started to feel like a responsibility. There comes a moment in every high achiever's life where they ask one question: who am I without this? Without the trophies, without the applause, without the expectations? For Rory, that question hit hard, because when your identity is built on performance, every bad day feels like a personal failure, and every loss feels like losing yourself. But here's what makes this story powerful. He didn't quit. He evolved. Rory began to understand something deeper. Perfection is not the goal. Peace is. He stopped chasing approval and started chasing balance. And for the first time in years, that smile started to become real again. Rory McIlroy didn't just learn how to win. He learned how to survive. Because sometimes the hardest battles are the ones no one can see. And maybe, just maybe, there are people around you right now, smiling, winning, succeeding, but silently breaking. Not every smile means someone is okay. Rory McIlroy didn't just spend 20 years chasing greatness. He spent 20 years carrying something no one could see. Not the trophies, not the fame, not the expectations, but the pressure, the fear, and the quiet voice in his head that kept asking, is this enough? Am I enough? And maybe that's the part that hits the hardest, because it doesn't matter who you are. A world-class athlete like Rory McIlroy, or someone sitting alone, watching this video right now, we all fight battles that nobody else can see. There were moments where he smiled in front of millions and then walked away into silence. No cameras, no applause, just thoughts. And sometimes those thoughts are louder than any crowd. But here's what makes this story different. Rory didn't let that darkness define him. He didn't pretend it wasn't there. He faced it, slowly, painfully, honestly. And in doing that, he discovered something most people never do. That happiness isn't found in winning everything. It's found in understanding yourself, accepting your flaws, letting go of perfection. For years, the world saw his swing, but they never saw his struggle. They saw the trophies, but not the toll it took to lift them. They saw the smile, but not the cracks behind it. And maybe that's the truth about success. It looks beautiful from a distance, but up close, it's complicated, messy, heavy. So the next time you see someone smiling, winning, living what looks like a perfect life, remember this story. Remember Rory. Because not every smile is real. Not every strong person feels strong. And not every success feels like success. So take a second, check on the people around you. And more importantly, check on yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how perfect your life looks. It's about whether you can live with it in peace.